Good morning, friends. In this lecture session, we'll discuss in detail about cell organelles in biochemistry for pharmacy students. Before going into the actual lecture, I just would like to tell you that for this lecture, I used so many photographs that are obtained from online resources, because right now, as you all knew, internet is providing us a lot of resource. I am not very sure whether they are copyright protected or not. If any one of you find it as inappropriate, I will take necessary action to correct it. Please let me know. As far as my knowledge is concerned, all the photographs that I used here are all not protected by any copyright. Oh, this is me. My friends, human body is a wonderful machine. For any kind of a machine, it is made up of certain parts. Okay, so in the same way, our human body is also made up of parts like skeletal tissue. Skeletal system is there, which is supporting our body structure, and the muscular system will be there, skeletal muscles, which helps us for movements and for our protection. And then nerve cells, nerve tissue will be there, which helps us, our system, to coordinate all its efforts and for internal communication. And we have a circulatory system where blood is pumped throughout the body so that nutrients are provided and waste material is removed from our body. And we do have certain organs which helps us consume energy from outside in the form of food. And we do have a lymphatic system to provide us fluid flow throughout our body, and also for our immune related protective activities. Like this, we have different types of tissues are there inside our body, which actually comprises of this entire wonderful bioorganic machine called human body. Now let's see how actually my body is organized. So in this human body is composed of various tissues, as we have seen. Let's say if we consider my face, that contains skin cells. Let's say we'll see skin tissue. So in case of skin tissue contains different types of functional units. This is a hair follicle, and then we have blood cells, and then we have all kinds of organization over here. This is the adipose tissue will also be there. And if we consider only the top layer, this is epidermis. So this epidermis itself is again a tissue unit, where we can find the entire tissue is composed of very smaller units. We call them as cells. That means this type of cells, a little bit functionalized, are actually making the first layer, second layer and third layer. And this type of cell is actually responsible for the remaining parts of this tissue also. So the only thing is their functionality is altering slightly. So this cell is doing jobs through its organelles, because this cell is again, it's a macro structure where so many other organelles will be there. So they will do their own jobs. So these organelles are made up of different types of ultrastructures, macromolecules. Okay, so this is a very complex, one of the complicated structure which actually makes an organelle is plasma membrane. This is one part of an organelle. So this plasma membrane is again, if you go zoom into the structure, it is actually made up of different types of organic compounds. Let's say if you take this phospholipid bilayer, here phospholipid bilayer is actually made up of various biochemical molecules. Dear friends, human body is made up of various tissues. So all these tissues, they have their own function, and in our body all these tissues, they function in coordination with each other. So one of them, all these tissues, they do their job in a coordinated manner. Every tissue is made up of a cell. All these cells, because a tissue contains millions of cells, so all these cells together, they do the job which is actually the function of a tissue. These cells are composed of certain organelles, because within a cell is like a very big factory where so many divisions will be there which are actually doing the job. Then these organelles are also actually made up of certain ultrastructures. So here, for example, an organelle needs a covering. So that covering is nothing but plasma membrane. So this plasma membrane, so with which material it is made up of? It is made up of organic compound only. So for example, if you see the phospholipid bilayer, this phospholipid bilayer is actually an organic compound. And what about this one? These are all proteins. So this is the way everything boils down to an organic compound. Now you can tell me, what is who am I? I am a very complicated organic compound. It is nothing more than that. Friends, let us see now what exactly is a cell and its organelles. A cell is a basic membrane bound unit that contains the fundamental molecules of life and of which all living things are composed. So this is the definition we can see for a cell. So within a cell, if you take a cell, there are a few things are there which are common to every cell. Cell is the fundamental unit of life. All living organisms are composed of cells, and all new cells come from pre-existing cells. So these are the common observations for all these cells. Okay, a cell is like an individual unit which can survive on its own. So if you are able to isolate a cell and if you provide nutrients to that cell, it can show all qualities of life. It means it consumes food, it grows, it can reproduce, it can protect itself. So these are the characteristics that you can see for differentiating living things and non-living things. If you cut cell into organelles, they will fail to show life, characteristics of life, because if you are able to separate one or the, if you cut down a cell and extract one of the organelles like mitochondria or anything like that, even if you provide nutrients, they will not be able to consume nutrients, they will not be able to grow, they will not be able to divide. All these things are not possible. So a cell is the basic unit, fundamental unit of life, which can show all the characteristics of life. Here I am showing you the cell, an actual cell, a human lymphocyte, white blood cells. This image is actually obtained from transmission electron microscope. You can see how complicated and how wonderful the cell organization is. Now let us see in brief about cell organelles. So this is actually the cell. So to now simplify the picture, I am giving you a cartoon model of human cell. So here you can see different types of organelles. All these are different types of organelles. So basic setup, whatever is there inside a cell is whatever I am showing you over here. The outer covering is cell membrane. Friends, I am giving you a separate lecture on cell membrane, its chemistry and then its functions, etc., because cell membrane is to be understood in detail, because that is what is actually very, very important for a pharmacy graduate. So that's why I made a separate lecture on cell membrane. So this is actually transmission electron micrograph of a cell membrane, plasma membrane. You can clearly see that two layers. This is what we call it as a phospholipid bilayer membrane, and this separates cell and its constituents from environment. It means cell is like a compartment made up of, it separates outside environment and inside environment in both physical, chemical and thermodynamic manner. It means inside the cell and outside the cell you will have a clear cut differentiation in ionic concentration, chemical composition and internal energy. So it is a barrier, physical barrier, and it offers physical protection, strength as well as integrity. A cell will have its own physical strength to withstand pressures from outside. Material and information transport, because cell membrane also has certain structures which helps in the transport of material, means food material or chemicals across the cell membrane, or else information means signaling can also be done across, via the cell membrane with the help of certain proteins or other structures. It helps maintain homeostasis. The next one is mitochondria. Mitochondria is one of the easily recognizable cell organelle. So mitochondria is a double layered structure. It looks like it is elongated and it looks like a cucumber, and where outer layer is a normal covering and inside layer is actually folded so heavily like this. These are all folds like this. So these folds offer increase in surface area. So upon these membranes as well as in the solution, in the solution over here, we will find so many proteins which are necessary for the oxidative metabolism and production of ATP. So the actual objective of mitochondria is for energy production via respiratory chain. It also gives out necessary signals during apoptosis, like nitric oxide production is done by mitochondria only. Oxidative stress signals are provided by mitochondria, and this is the way how mitochondria helps us. As far as mitochondria are available in different shapes and sizes. When somebody is exercising, the kind of differences that you can observe is efficient utilization of food material happens. So here mitochondrial size increases when you are putting more pressure on body. Mitochondria need to overwork, so thereby it will provide more energy. So mitochondria often elongates or it increases its proteins, or otherwise protein thickness of mitochondria will increase. So this is the way how mitochondria helps our system in providing energy. We do have a detailed discussion on this one in the next lectures, because we will be having a very clear understanding on functioning of mitochondria while discussing about oxidative phosphorylation as well as glycolysis and drug metabolism. In these three chapters we will have in detailed discussion on the way how mitochondria works. The next one is nucleus. This is a nucleus. Okay. A nucleus is organized in such a manner that nucleus is like a capsule, circular in nature, and inside you will have one more area where actually nuclear material is present. That is what we call it as nucleolus. Nucleus and nucleolus. A nucleus gets its signals through pores, pore-like structure. These are all pore-like structures. So through this information is transmitted. It means that inside the nucleus you will find DNA. Okay, so chromosomes will be there inside nucleus. So whenever the cell needs certain proteins to be expressed or something to be happening, its function is to be altered, the signal will reach nucleus, okay, and then it initiates expression, okay, gene expression, and the material in the reciprocation happens in the form of mRNA, and then the gene expression happens, and that helps in synthesis of proteins, and those proteins are going to alter the function of a cell. For example, if you are daily going to gym, you will definitely see development of skeletal muscle tissue, okay, thickness, size, shape, etc., everything changes. So the stress you are putting on your skeletal muscles in gym actually sends signals to the skeletal muscle cells. Okay, so these signals are translated, understood and translated by the nuclear material. They will pressurize the nuclear material to express more proteins because your muscle tissue needs strength. So that happens only via division, cell division. Second one is increase in protein content, means the fibrous protein content is to be increased. Proteins are to be synthesized. So the information that it has received is translated into more muscle fibers. So in that way muscle strength will increase when you go to gym. So this job is done by nucleus. So this is the way how nucleus helps us. Okay, we'll have a detailed understanding on how it works when we are discussing about the nucleic acids, DNA division, during cell division chapter, when we are discussing about the cancers, we will have in detailed understanding on nucleus, the other functions of nucleus. Now let us see Golgi apparatus. Golgi apparatus is one more very important organelle where it collect and concentrate chemicals to be secreted by cell. What is the meaning of it? Let us say you are dealing with insulin producing cells of pancreas. So in case of pancreas, it has to synthesize and keep insulin ready, okay. So it's a routine process for beta islets of Langerhans. So what they does, beta islets of Langerhans synthesizes insulin, as insulin is a protein and it is not very stable. So that's why it is actually after synthesis it will be collected by Golgi apparatus. This is this one, and it will keep the material by budding off a little bit of its material, and it will be released into it will be kept in the cytosol. The material that Golgi apparatus has received is actually stored in these small vesicles. These small vesicles means it will collect, concentrate, and then the material will be kept in the Golgi apparatus and it will bud off from the actual organelle in the form of a vesicle. So these vesicles will be kept ready. As and when a signal arises, the vesicle will deliver the material outside via exocytosis. So what is the job of Golgi apparatus? It collects and concentrates chemicals to be secreted by the cell. Let us say if you are taking nerve cells, let us say adrenergic nerve ending is there, where adrenaline is synthesized and released into the nerve junction. Then adrenaline after synthesis will be collected and concentrated and kept in a vesicle with the help of Golgi apparatus. So this is the way. Whenever a cell is supposed to synthesize a chemical, specialized chemical, and release it as and when it is needed, that job is actually needs the help of Golgi apparatus, where the synthesized chemical is collected, concentrated, and kept in a vesicle. So this is the way. Next one is endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum, two types of specialized structures are there. One is rough endoplasmic reticulum, and the next one is, this is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So in endoplasmic reticulum, it is always associated with nuclear membrane. It actually covers a little bit of nucleus. So whenever a cell needs newer proteins to be synthesized, more proteins to be synthesized, mRNA will go outside, and then the endoplasmic reticulum, the roughness is because of the embedded ribosomes over here. Okay, so ribosomes are embedded into endoplasmic structure where protein synthesis is initiated. Protein synthesis is initiated. The rough endoplasmic reticulum is meant for protein synthesis. In the same way, smooth endoplasmic reticulum is where fat lipid molecules are biosynthesized. Lipid molecules are biosynthesized. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The next one is very important organelle, that is lysosome. Lysosomes are sac-like structures that are staying inside the cytosol, where these lysosomes contain a mixture of hydrolyzing enzymes. Hydrolyzing enzymes means lipases, peptidases, esterases, etc. All these enzymes will be there which are so aggressive. They also contain vesicles which help in the maintenance of pH. Okay. So here in the lysosome's job is to scavenge. So whenever a foreign body or a microbe or a virus or some kind of a foreign material, macromolecule, if it enters into our cell, then lysosomes will consume them and try to destroy it with the help of lysing enzymes, with the enzymes aggressive, which actually hydrolyze the molecule aggressively. Like in case of a bacterial infection, a macrophage actually consumes the bacteria. Once it is consumed, it has to be degraded into smaller parts, so that degradation or killing of the bacteria is actually achieved with the help of lysosomes. So this is the way how lysosomes does a very important job inside our body, inside our cell. And the next one is vacuole. Oh, sorry, this is the vacuole. So vacuoles are vesicles only, but they are empty and they are filled with gases. So as you all knew, inside our cell so many biochemical reactions are happening. Sometimes they produce gases. So this gas is to be transported. So how it is happening? So it happens via the specialized apparatus, we call them organelles, we call them as vacuoles. Vacuoles are usually generated during cell destruction process. So friends, to summarize, a cell is the basic functional unit of life, and its functions are carried out by various organelles. These organelles as well as cell is actually made up of are gaining their identity is because of plasma membrane. Plasma membrane is a phospholipid bilayer. It helps separate cell and its contents from external environment. It also helps in compartmentalization of a cell into organelles. A nucleus stores genetic information and its regulation. It also helps in its regulation. Mitochondria is like rechargeable battery for our cell, and synthesis of ATP, oxidative metabolism of organic compounds, all these happens within mitochondria. Oxidative degradation always happens within mitochondria. Endoplasmic reticulum, it helps both in protein synthesis, like in case of rough endoplasmic reticulum, and lipid synthesis for smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Golgi apparatus, where chemical synthesized by cells for secretion are collected and concentrated over here, and these chemicals are loaded into vesicles that will bud off to be released via exocytosis. Lysosomes, they carry digestive enzymes especially useful for killing foreign bodies, foreign microbes, pathogenic bacteria, etc. Vacuoles are used for transport of gases. Okay friends, this is in brief about cell and its biochemical organization. In the biochemical organization, the first part is the way how a cell and its organelles are arranged inside our body. And in future, in the coming lectures, while discussing about different type of organelles and other things like carbohydrate biochemistry, lipid biochemistry, etc., at appropriate places, we will again come back to the cell organelle and its functions. Like in case of nucleic acids, we will have to discuss about nucleus. In case of carbohydrate or lipid metabolism, we will have to come back to mitochondria. So like this, as and when it is needed, we will come back to the cell organelle and its functions. So we will continue our discussion in the next class on phospholipid bilayer, its chemistry, functions, etc., everything in detail we will discuss, we will see in the next lecture.